Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate as we continue counting down the days to the beginning of the 2024 college football season. We are now less than 5 days away, maybe even less than 3 days away, depending on when you watch this video. But today, I want to preview another college football team's season and tell you what I think their record will be. This is another team that I previewed before last college football season. Didn't think they were going to be any good last year, and they weren't. How good will they be this year? Let's find out. But before I talk about them and who they are, my question is, can he still get his hands on a motorcycle? And that might give you a clue as to who I am referring to and what team I am talking about. It is the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, a lot of people thought that Sam Pittman should have been fired after last season, and I am one of those people. He did nothing, in my opinion, to merit keeping his job. I never, ever want to see a coach get fired unless he's done something to hurt his team off the field, doing something he shouldn't be doing. But as far as on the field, I never want to see not just coaches, but anybody get fired because anybody ever had a job where you've been let go. It's not a good feeling. You can act like it is and think it is and talk all big and bad, say it doesn't bother you, but in reality, nobody likes being let go. So I never want to be an advocate for seeing a coach get fired. But I'm also the person that believes in fairness. And sometimes I believe coaches get treated unfairly because they'll go to a program and before they get a chance to turn the program around, they get fired. Or they have one bad season and they get fired. And before Sam Pittman, Arkansas had Chad Morris, who I thought wouldn't have been a great coach, but he would have eventually turned the program around and turned him into a winning season and went consistently 6-6, 7-5, maybe occasionally 8-4, which for Arkansas football is not bad. But in a couple of seasons, they fire him and they bring in Sam Pittman, and Sam Pittman came out guns a-blazing and looked like he was going to turn Arkansas into a perennial powerhouse. And then after a couple of years, he kind of plateaued and started going backwards. And now they're getting worse every year, and they keep bringing him back. It just doesn't seem fair that Chad Morris is going this direction and he gets fired, and Sam Pittman goes this direction and he gets retained. That just doesn't make sense. I know that everybody loves Sam Pittman, and he seems like a cool guy, but being cool doesn't make you a winner. And right now at Arkansas, he's not a winner. But they open up the season on Thursday night, August 29th, against Arkansas Pine Bluff. That's probably a good thing for them because I think Arkansas is pretty much going to suck this year. And there's some good games on August 31st. And if they were on that day, nobody would watch them play outside of Arkansas fans. But playing on that Thursday night when there's not a heck of a lot of marquee matchups, they might get a few eyeballs. I doubt it because Arkansas Pine Bluff blows chunks. Then they play Oklahoma State on September the 7th, UAB on September the 14th, Auburn on September 21st, Texas A&M on September 28th. Then they open up the month of October on the 5th against Tennessee. And then they have their first bye week the Saturday of October the 12th, which is a good thing for them because I don't know if anybody has looked over the schedule of games on October the 12th, but in my personal, humble opinion, October the 12th is going to be the best day of the year this year for college football. Sun up to sundown that day, there's some great games on. So if Arkansas played that day, nobody would care, nobody would know, so they're off that day. Then they come back October 19th against LSU. October 26th, they play Mississippi State. Then they open up the month of November on the 2nd against Ole Miss. Then they have their second bye week, the weekend of November the 9th. Then they play Texas on November 16th. Louisiana Tech on November 23rd, and Missouri will be their season finale the weekend of Thanksgiving on November the 30th. Now we know that KJ Jefferson, who has been their quarterback since 1975, he transferred. He's now at Central Florida. So Taylen Green, who is a transfer from Boise State, will be their new quarterback. And the reason why I asked earlier, can he still get his hands on a motorcycle, is because Bobby Petrino is back calling plays as the offensive coordinator, and he's really truly the only coach on the staff that has any kind of head coaching experience. So if Arkansas was to fire Sam Pittman in the middle of the season, I think they would promote Petrino to be their head coach, which I believe is why he agreed to go back there to be the play caller, because he knows if Sam Pittman gets fired, he will at least get to finish out the 2024 season as their head coach and then see what happens. After that, we all know the story of Petrino and the motorcycle, his first go-around as the Arkansas head coach. The man's a douchebag, but he can flat out coach a football team. But I think Arkansas is in for a bad season, which is why I think Petrino will get promoted, because if you fire a head coach in the middle of the season, more often than not, more times than not, whoever on the staff has head coaching experience becomes the interim head coach for the rest of that season. I believe that would be Bobby Petrino. But I think they beat Arkansas Pine Bluff, and I think they beat UAB, and I think they beat Louisiana Tech. That's 3 non-conference wins. And I also think they beat Mississippi State. Now, I think if Arkansas and Mississippi State were to get ranked right now by me as far as which one sucks the worst, I don't know. I think they both suck equally as bad. They're both in for long seasons. But I would probably put Arkansas a little bit ahead of Mississippi State, only because Mississippi State has a brand new head coach who I think in the long run is going to be a winner, but not right now. I think they're in for a long season. So just because of the head coaching experience, I'll go with Arkansas and give them that win. So I'll put them at 1-7 in the SEC, 4-8 overall. Honestly, really, truly, I'd be stunned if they win 5 games. I think they're either going to be a 3-9, 4-8 team. I'll give them the win against Mississippi State, but if they were to lose that game, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I know that Petrino is one heck of a play caller, and if you look at his track record, he can turn any offense around. And Taylen Green, I believe, is enough of a dual threat quarterback that Petrino could do something. But there's 2 issues. One is they have absolutely 0 playmakers on offense. So even if Taylen Green's a good quarterback, he has nobody to hand the ball to and nobody to throw the ball to. So that handcuffs you. And for 2, I think Arkansas's offensive line is going to be pathetic. And if you have no playmakers and no offensive line, I don't care who calls the plays, it's going to be a struggle. And that's where I think Arkansas is. You have Petrino's back, but when you have no play callers and no real true playmakers on offense, and you have no offensive line, you can't do a whole lot. I don't care who's calling the plays. And I think Sam Pittman gets fired in the middle of the season because if you look right there, right at their first bye week, they play Texas A&M and Tennessee before their bye week, and I think they're going to get blowed out in both of those games. And then after that bye week, they come back and play LSU, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. Even if they beat Mississippi State, which there's no guarantee they will, but even if they do, after Ole Miss, they have their second bye week. And after that second bye week, you play Texas, Louisiana Tech, and Missouri. Nobody gives a darn whether or not you beat Louisiana Tech. But if you head into that second bye week and you've been blown out by Texas A&M, Tennessee, LSU, and Ole Miss, and you're going to come off that bye week and get blown out by Texas and Missouri, there's no reason to retain Sam Pittman. So heading into their second bye week, which is sandwiched between Ole Miss and Texas, they've played 9 games. They're either going to be 2-7 or 3-6, depending on whether or not they beat Mississippi State. Either way, you're not going to a bowl game. Either way, you're going to get your doors blowed off by Texas A&M, Tennessee, LSU, and Ole Miss, and there's nothing to look forward to. By that time, probably half their team has already decided they're going to transfer. You might as well go ahead and let Pittman go and start looking forward to 2025 and finding out who your next coach will be if you don't want to retain Petrino. But I think if he doesn't get fired the first bye week after they get blown out by A&M and Tennessee, he'll definitely get fired the second bye week. And that's the best time to fire a coach because it's a bye week. So nobody's talking about you because you're not playing. So by the time you play again, people have had 2 weeks to sit back and think about it. So my prediction is Sam Pittman gets fired in the middle of the season and Petrino gets to finish out the season. And depending on how the current AD and school president feel and how they finish out the season, he may be their long-term coach. And Arkansas either goes 4-8 or 3-9, depending on whether or not they beat Mississippi State. Because outside of Arkansas Pine Bluff and UAB and Louisiana Tech, Mississippi State's the only swing game they have. They're not beating anybody else. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I'm thinking of becoming a hitman. I heard they make a killing. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.